demonic angel. I'm just gonna do another tarot card. You know, pretty much probably 20 cards, 15 cards, short of being all the way through, so that's really exciting. And I'm gonna do, after this, I'm gonna do 1 or 2 videos of some random things I thought about, and I left them on my computer that isn't on, and I'll cover those couple of things. And then I'm actually gonna go out hiking, and I'm gonna do a sigil video outdoors. I'm going to basically combine you know, ritual and spirituality out there with my hiking, but it's gonna be pretty exciting, so I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, today is the Knight of Pentacles. So, like any of the other knights, he is air, and behind him, the landscape is kind of obscure. It's not really easy to see if it's you know, desert and this and that or what, but there's little trees here in the background, and then we have the hills, the mountains, the terrain, and that's because he's just starting out on his journey. You know, before this is the Page of Pentacles, and you know, the Page is all these ideas about connecting ideas into your real world, grounded earth kind of a way. And the Page is, he's doing his studying, he's engaging in ideas and planning, you know, for these things that our jobs, our careers, our home life, our family, that we think about when we think what we, you know, that planning kind of thing. So the Knight, of course, as he is in all the other suits, he's action. So now we're putting our plans into action. But with the terrain kind of being, you know, not too decorated. This is just the beginning of the journey, and there's still mountains to cross. So there's lots that can happen. You know, mountains represent, you know, literally the journey and the unexpected. So no matter what the Page of Pentacles is planned for and what the Knight thinks is going to, you know, how he's going to change his actions and put this into plan, unexpected things are going to happen. Or, you know, life's not always going to turn out our way according to our plans, but it's better obviously to have some plans and plans of action to back up what we think. That way we're not just blown whichever way, you know, the wind blows when these kinds of challenges arise. Yeah, so he's a really nice looking gentleman, and on the horse's head here we have some little sprouts, and you know, that's really what they're supposed to look like. This is that, you know, he is acting on the things he's planned out, but they're just beginning to sprout, to become real. I mean, the earth, the suit of Pentacles, has everything to do with being grounded. Now, this knight here, in the Knight of Pentacles, the difference with him is his horse is, he's got, we can't see the back, but he's got all 4 of his hooves into the ground, and you know, as opposed to other knights where they're moving slowly, but their horse it has 1 foot off of the ground, and whatever, you can tell that forward momentum. This is still forward moving action, but this, because we're dealing with earthing, grounding, the horse is very well planted, because this is being grounded to reality and connected to the earth. And one of the other things that being grounded has to do with is being connected to time and space. We all come from a different a time, right? 1920, 1847, 2020, and we're living, no matter how long we live in that time and place. You come from 2020, America, Africa, and all those associated details, whether your family's rich or poor, or your religion that you get raised with, right? That's a sense of time and place. Now, as an adult, you can decide what identity of your culture you want to keep. You can decide what religion you want to be, but you're always going to come from what time you come from. And that connects you to the earth. You are real. We're real. We're here alive in this time and place. And when we daydream and when we get caught up and people go, oh, 10 years went by and I didn't realize what happened. That's because people, they're ungrounded. They're just so caught up in that they don't appreciate the time and place. When you've got that appreciation and you do simple things like put your feet in the earth, take an Epsom salt bath, apple cider vinegar, detoxify. You sit and have that moment. You're appreciating time and place, and time will go by a little bit slower. Now, many people have much busier lives than me, but it still works by taking time out of your day to appreciate, even 5 minutes, alone. It makes time seem like it's going by a little bit slower because you're here and now. So it's really wonderful, and the horse really is telling us that he's grounded, and that the actions are sprouting seeds, that he's reaping what is being sown. So what was sown by the ideas are coming, slowly coming to fruition. And likewise on his helmet, he's got some greenery growing back here. So if he stays, he's only our knight, right? And he's very, he doesn't have a weapon that we can see. Now, one of the things I'd like to also say is that some of the, the pages, the knights that are on their horses, a lot of times they're looking at the cup or the pentacle in front of them and looking at it in some way that is sending a message to you. Well, this is also sending a message to us. He is not looking at the pentacle, if you can see that. He is looking kind of, maybe off to the side, whatever, somewhere else. He's not looking at that. That's because he is not going to be distracted. The pentacle here is kind of this representation of all these earthly distractions. Okay, so if he wants to make plans, right, of his let's say his hopes, dreams, and goals, you could, whatever life that you think sounds good to you, right? Let's say in his case, because it's very easy to kind of understand, or it's it's the classic tale. He wants to have kids. He's married. He wants to have a family, but he wants to have a bigger house, and he wants to have a better job. So he has to keep his mind, he has to make that plan, make an action for it, and put that into action. So later, that's going to, carry him through this whole suit of life, of being grounded. And there's a lot of, as you know, with the Pentacles, in any of them, there's trials and trepidations. So if he keeps his mind not on the Pentacle, which represents drugs, alcohol, because those are also earthly things, deterrents, setbacks, let's just say you have a minor setback, but you get stuck in it and you don't recover, you kind of have a neurosis. Just get back on your horse and keep going, right? And don't be, if that's something that you would really want, it's not going to just happen, right? If that really was his dream, in that case I mentioned, it's not going to just happen. It's going to only happen if he stays the course through this whole suit, through the mountains that he has to go through. And, that's why he doesn't have his eyes on these are kind of the lower earthly temptations that are things that relieve us from stress, that are seen as social and recreational, and probably can be in some amounts. But what I'm talking about is doing, you get lost in the excess of that. And at some point that would ruin your plans, because one of the reasons, obviously, is that addiction is not just, you need to take a certain chemical, or obviously people can understand shopping addiction. You need to do that. It's psychological. So that's why it's so encompassing for people, and that's the hardest part of any kind of recovery anyway. And in order to really recover from something like that, there has to be a staying of the course and understanding what you want and your plans to stay grounded, to make that happen. And it's not just what your plans are, but what you are going to do to make that happen. When you get lost in the seat, and there's all these other things, right? The people at his job, just all the different personalities and different influences and, whatever, different trends. He knows what he wants. Now, he's obviously upright. He knows what he wants. And he is slowly moving forward, but he's taking a moment to, he'd be watching the sunset if he was riding his horse, this gentleman, and enjoying the moment and moving on. He's got, this is very positive. The actions are, they're growing for him. He literally materialized organic material out of nothing, which nothing is being his thoughts. That is such a fertile nutrient, and combining your thoughts, your ideas, and now putting it into action. So he knows what he wants, and the opposite of this is that you had your planning phase, now you put it into in action, and you just get swept away. Let's just say that you have the same dream as the gentleman I mentioned, but the temptations of drugs, alcohol, other women, the job's too stressful, so you just give up, or you give up on school, you give up on whatever, technical school kind of thing. And then you kind of blame that externally, like, it's too stressful, it's not my fault, right? You just let these earthly problems that are not coming from within, they're the influences of outside, ruin your plans. And you're just too open too open to that influence of just what other people are thinking and saying. Other people aren't going home and living your life, right? They're not reaching your goals. So it's okay to be influenced by people. We are supposed to be. But it's not okay to just identify with somebody like to that excess and let that drag you in. Same thing with those other things. So these reminders, I might talk, we might talk about some of the same dangers and warnings, but really that's what man really is, and it just pertains to the certain levels and what we're dealing with in that moment there. So I'll do a couple other videos, and then I'm gonna still do a sigil video coming up. I'll talk to you guys later.